What is going on? So in this video, we're going to be discussing the movie Juice. This movie stars Tupac Shakur as Bishop, Omar Epps as Q, Jermaine Hopkins as Steele, and Khalil Kain as Raheem. I remember seeing this movie as a kid and I thought, it was a pretty decent movie. It was pretty cool. I didn't really pay much attention to it, but I decided to revisit it and give it a second look. Story starts off with these four young men growing up in Harlem, and these guys were in high school in Harlem as well. They seemed like they were pretty close friends and that everything was pretty normal for them, besides their occasional run-in with the Robbery gang. Robbery was a Puerto Rican street gang, or a Puerto Rican led street gang, that seemed to push these guys around quite a bit and kind of harass them every now and then. Besides the Robbery harassing them, they were also chased away by the store owner that they were being loud and belligerent in front of as well. And he also threatened to shoot off their PPs. Bishop, being somewhat the leader of the group, was finding himself being tired of being pushed around, tired of running and being chased by cops, being chased away by gangs, by store owners. Bishop was tired of walking around and not getting respect from people. He began to voice his concern and start to tell the guys different stories and analogies about power and respect. Q had different plans. He aspired to be a new and upcoming DJ and went home to practice on some of his skills when working on the vinyls. From there, he began to tweak and refine his craftsmanship. He heard about an audition for local DJs to come out and to showcase their ability, showcase their talent. So he went and met up with Queen Latifah, who was heading that particular audition. She liked his work and set for him to come to a local competition later on. But later on, Q also finds out about Bishop's plan for money and for power and respect. His plan is to rob a convenience store. Q goes to the competition and showcases his ability, showcases his skills and his craftsmanship, and from there was able to pull off a W and advance to the finals. The crowd loved his work. They loved the style that he brought. It was very fresh, very energetic, and they were very receptive to him. Well, all except his crew. Bishop, Raheem, and Steele were a little unhappy because they were waiting on him to get done so that they can go ahead and continue with their plan to rob the convenience store. They arrive at the convenience store ready to make their move. They suit up and they head over to the store. Bishop goes in, draws his weapon on the owner, as the others go to the register and steal all the money and whatever items they want. But instead of just getting the money and leaving, he shoots him, with the rest of the crew completely baffled and utterly confused as to why he made that harebrained decision. Now they have to sort of scatter and figure things out to get out of that area and the situation. They scatter and run to the nearest hideout that they can find. They arrive and catch their breath. Raheem isn't happy and he confronts Bishop about his decision at the store, telling him that he was stupid for making that decision. It was a harebrained decision and he wants him to give him the gun. Bishop isn't really feeling that plan and wants to keep the gun and draws another weapon. Raheem rushes him and tries to wrestle the gun away from him, but Bishop ends up drawing a little bit of distance and shooting Raheem. This particular decision set the course for everything else that was to happen in this film. Fast forward to the funeral. Here we have Q, Steele, and don't forget Bishop. Bishop is here with Raheem's sister, consoling her and comforting her in her time of mourning, as well as consoling and comforting Raheem's mom. It was during this scene that Q was able to quickly realize how sinister and how crazy Bishop had gotten. He knew that every move he made from that point on had to be calculated. Sometime down the line, Bishop is going and he's kind of checking on Steele and checking on Q, keeping close tabs on them, seeing where they at mentally and just kind of checking them. And he's doing this as an intimidation factor. In this scene, Q begins to tell Bishop, you know what, you crazy. And Bishop sort of embellishes it and owns it and sort of just embraces it. Later on, Bishop sets up a meet with Steele and had him to meet him at the pool hall. He told him they were getting ready to go somewhere to make up some money or make some money back that they had lost. Bishop has Steele to follow him down an alleyway where they got off to a secluded location, and he shoots Steele as well. Eventually finding his way on down to Q. He had plans to do the same to him as well, but Q was able to say something to Bishop that threw him off for a split second. He was able to get the jump on him. Trying to regain control of the weapon, Bishop gains control, and immediately Q begins to run throughout the city in efforts to get away from Bishop. Down the street, he was able to find a place to duck off and hide into, and he gets into an elevator, thinking he's safe, but lo and behold, Bishop finds him. They continue to scuffle throughout this building, till eventually they led up to the rooftop. Q is looking for Bishop on the rooftop. Bishop attacks him with a 2x4, and they begin to fight and scuffle once again. But during their fight, Bishop loses his balance and ends up almost falling over the edge of the building. Q hurries over to grab him in efforts to save him from falling off of the ledge, but his grip is just entirely too loose. Bishop ends up falling into his demise. Q slowly walks over towards the door, and there's a crowd of people that witnessed everything that had happened from the party. Then he's approached by a young man that tells him, "You got the juice now," and the movie ends. I gotta admit, this movie was a little rough to sit through. It was fragmented, it was a little broken, things were moving a little too fast, just nothing was really making much sense. These four young men were supposed to be in high school. That was throwing me off enough as it was. It was supposed to be about, power and respect and things like that. But it seemed like the power and respect that they was supposed to have gained from the plan that Bishop came up with, I can't even call it short-lived. It was never there. They got tired of being pushed around by the local gang. They got tired of being pushed, scared off by the store owners for getting into scuffles in front of their stores with the Rodamez gang. But it was just like they were tired of being pushed around. They were tired of being, looked over and not respected. And their plan was to rob a convenience store in order to gain the respect. Then they rob the convenience store, shoot the owner, and go on a run. And then eventually Bishop just one by one kills all his friends, kills one of them the same night, like minutes after this happened. Shot one of them, goes to the funeral, hugs the mom, consoling the sister. Then after the funeral, probably a few days later, shoots Steele and then threatens to kill Q and then tries to kill Q. And then he gets into a terrible fight on a rooftop, loses his balance, falls over the ledge. Q's holding on to him, but of course he can't really grip him because they're sweaty from all the running and fighting you've been doing with your friends this whole time. Falls to his death off of a building, and then that's the end. And I'm just sitting there like, what? This movie was a headache. It could have been done so much better. I feel like they could have played more into that power and respect thing. Maybe cut off some of the other stuff that was going on and showcase them forming a gang of guys and developing that same respect. Maybe show them in the same light or likeness of the Rodamez gang, and now they're in a much better position to compete as a rival gang and possibly get rid of their competition to really aid into that power and respect aspect of it. But no, none of that ever happens. They get pushed around, they rob a store, shoot the owner, and then he just shoots his friends and then falls off a building. That's literally the movie though. Like, as stupid as that sounds, I appreciate the nostalgia of being able to see like the 90s and the 90s clothing and the gear. I caught like 5 or 6 years of the 90s, and so it meant a lot to me as well. And listening to some of the music, seeing some of the stores, like the record stores, they went into a vinyl store and stole vinyls out of there. Seeing Q or go and audition to be a DJ, and you actually got to spin records, and you actually got to be decent on those tables. It was cool seeing that, but it just seemed like that wasn't enough to make up for how terrible that movie was. That movie was terrible. The timing was off. people would just, emotions would go from 0 to 10 for no reason. It was just, a lot of things that was happening didn't make much sense. So with that being said, we got the summary of the movie down. We got my little take on it and how I feel about the movie. Now let's go ahead and take a deeper dive. Let's take a closer look. We're gonna look a lot closer at some scenes and point out some things that I thought were pretty funny. Yeah, let's kick back and have a couple of laughs. So in this first clip here, there's a letter Q right above Q's bed, which is alright. And then there's children's building blocks. He has like 4 or 5 of them and they all have the letter Q. What children's building block set did you go through to just grab all these? This boy will wake up with his hands in his pants instantly. And why is there a slinky over here? Y'all need to throw the whole shower away. Just take the shower and throw it into the wastebasket. Okay, so this is Steele in his little brother's room. I'm so confused by this bedroom because there's pictures of half-naked women on the wall, but then there's a teddy bear, a big teddy bear in the corner. Then they're on bunk beds that look like they're made for 4-year-olds. Then there's action figures. Then the sheets look like it's for a 5-year-old. I don't understand. There's a skateboard in the window. What? Then their dad walks in with the very first USPS uniform that was ever made. His brother wakes up and I end up pausing this at the most terrible time. This clip looks so petty. But he pulls his brother out of the bed and this clip just looks petty as well. This boy falls on the floor. He wakes up, pulls his brother out of the bed, out of the top bunk, so that he can fall down 2 stories. Hit the floor, and then his dad instantly, when I say instantly, was just like, "Get up, boy." There's no other form of getting up that's more efficient. This boy is out of bed, fell on the floor, and is wide awake, and he yelling at him to get up. Also, you didn't see this whole grown man pull him out of the bed? He over here yelling at him like he was still asleep. This whole little brother then pulled this boy out of the bed and threw him on the ground. There's a picture of Bishop on the wall, and I promise you, it looked like they took that picture the day before. It looks the exact same. I was confused because they had Pac, and it looks like he's living with his grandmother, and so they don't really show his mom, and I don't remember them speaking too much about her in this film. Then he walks into the living room, and this is his father. And he's just standing there in his boxers, staring at his father while his dad watches TV or stares at the wall. But they never go into this scene. They never go into why this dude is sitting right there looking like he's traumatized. They never really go into it. There's a part where they speak about his father being a prison yard hoe. Like he was in prison and maybe he got tossed around a little bit. They mention that, but they never really go into any detail. Q over here getting dressed, and then this dude got a sign. This dude is infatuated with the letter Q. Got a Q on the stop sign up here. This boy Raheem is getting ready, and it was supposed to be his sister, but this looked like his mom, yo. She looked like she can easily be his mom. She's begging to get into the bathroom so she can get ready for work, cause she get ready for this job interview she has. But she's fully dressed, like blouse, sports coat, earrings, lipstick. What bathroom were you getting ready in before where he was in here and you managed to put on all of this stuff and you still not ready to go? They got Q putting on some shoes, and his little brother is like kind of sitting right there and approving or not approving whatever shoe that he's putting on. So he's giving him a yay or a nay for whatever shoe. The part that confused me was he had to put the shoe all the way on just for him to be like, nah, I don't really like that shoe. Can you just hold the shoe up? Be like, what about this one? What about this one? Like, why do I have to put the whole shoe on and lace it up just so you can tell me no? This boy Steele, I don't know what none of these boys was wearing. Raheem outfit was the most logical outfit out of everybody. Steele outfit was the most confusing. This boy got on duck boots, looks like red and black plaid pajama pants. but they're not pants, they're overalls with a white and black jailhouse shirt, and then tops it all off with a blue and green plaid bucket hat. Just screw the rules. I'm living life on the edgiest of edge. And then has a payday in his hand. Come on, boy. This scene here, they show Bishop, he's fully dressed now, getting ready to head out, and he steps over by his father and hands him what looks to be like $8, like $8 or $9, slides it in his top pocket and tells him, "See you later, Pop." Dude never acknowledges him, just still traumatized, looking straight ahead. And they never get into it. They never talked about it. Look at Steel outfit, yo. It's just, this is driving me insane. This boy look like a petty black Chinese grandmother. Then he's getting ready to leave out of the door, and he got his school books with him. And instead of him taking his school books with him to school, he sets him down on the floor and swaps it for a radio. What type of parents is these? Like, how are you not able to see that this boy then put his books down and swapped it for a radio? Everybody outfit is just the absolute worst. This boy got on, he got this tan jacket on, this blue and yellow shirt, this burnt orange hat, white jeans, white pants. Now, I see everybody got, of course, they got apartment numbers, addresses, and stuff like that. That's cool. Like, that stuff I can easily just skip over. But for some odd reason, like, this movie, like, keys in on it. Like, the camera angle, like, kind of focuses in on it. Or it, I don't know, man. It's always sort of really highlighted in the background. So, I saw, like, the 3F in this shot here. The 6-7, how the camera just sort of sits there on the address. And I wasn't understanding why. Then this boy walking down the street looking like Slim Albert. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Does he buy his own clothes? Your parents have nothing to do with how you dress. This boy look like he got his whooped by a laundromat. It's making me angry because once you unbutton his grandmother's jacket, it looks like, and take that off, you're gonna see a white and black striped shirt up under it. It's so many colors, so many things going on, and I just feel like it's just angering me. I kept noticing about the gang. This is a Puerto Rican gang, a street gang, but everybody kept wearing like California gear, like West Coast gear, and they're in the East Coast. They're in Harlem. It was so much West Coast gear in this gang. It was killing me. Like right here, you got a Raiders hat. You got the Scully on, you got the little braids that you would normally see, or a hairstyle that you would normally see on the West Coast. Then you got this guy with a San Francisco hat on. I'm just like, man, all these dudes from the East Coast or from the West Coast? Then this dude right here with this big hat, like, this dude wear the biggest hats in this whole film. This hat is the largest hat in the world. I mean, look at it. It is the biggest. Is he baking a cake in it? So in this scene here, this dude is bragging about how he's getting laid by this girl named Danisha or something like that. And the fellas end up informing him and telling him that Danisha used to be Donald. It was formerly a guy that I'm guessing is cross-dressing or something like that. And I'm just like, how do you not figure that out? Unless you just run around lying about being laid by this particular person. But he over here like, I was doing the hoochie coochie, my friend. And they was just like, yeah, you was doing it all right with Donald. So these guys who were supposed to be in high school are just not going to school. These boys go straight to the pool hall. There's a pool hall arcade over at a place called Trips Paradise, which is owned by Samuel L. Jackson. And all these high school kids are in there hanging out here before school or during school. I truly believe that Samuel L. Jackson dresses this way on a day-to-day basis in real life. I think they literally saw him somewhere walking around New York and was just like, hey, what you got going on? Come on over here. Own this store for like 3 hours for us. Then the police pulls up instantly. Like they just instantly knew that high schoolers were inside of here. Everybody see the police pull up, everybody scatter and run, except Steele. Steele over here, he ain't got no headphones on. He ain't got nothing blocking his hearing. You hear Samuel L. Jackson yell out, the cops are here. And you hear everybody scatter and run. And he want to stick around and play Street Fighter. The cops come in, see him playing Street Fighter, probably losing with how focused he is, and nabs him. Don't look surprised now. You see Samuel L. Jackson in the background like, boy, I told you they was out here. And these cops were the most dedicated though. Like, they were chasing these high school kids like they was like wanted fugitives or something. Chase them up the steps. This one dived trying to catch this dude. And like, just the sheer amount of dedication was killing me. Chase these boys all the way up to the roof of the building. And it's just like, God, how much are y'all getting paid? And instead of the boys giving up and just like, all right, y'all called us, you know what I mean? They keep running, heads over to the ledge of the building, jumps, and I refuse to believe that they cleared this. I just refuse to. Just with the head start that they had, I refuse to believe that they made this jump. But as the movie has it, they made it. And from the way this clip looks, did they twerk in victory? Also, I wasn't understanding. Just because you made it to this building over here, which is the next building over, doesn't mean anything. All the police have to do is just like, hey, could you have a few units just surround the entrance, surround the front door and back door to the next building, please? Thank you, I appreciate it. Because I never understood how this worked. How are you getting away from anybody? All they gotta do is just surround the entrance. You gotta come out eventually. Unless you stay here. This scene was a little confusing to me as well, because you got this white guy walking down the street with a suitcase. And I get it, you see a group of black guys, so you may, you know, be on alert a little bit. But he isn't, I mean, the neighborhood you're in looks like it's just full of all types of people. The young lady back there look like she's Latino. Looks like the young lady back there look like she's Latina. I mean, you're walking, you had to have known that you were going to run into somebody of a different race. You're in New York. It's a huge melting pot. Then he decides to walk all the way over here. Like these guys are just really going to do something to him. Came all the way back behind the bench, everything. And they just laughing at him. Ain't even doing nothing to him. And then in the next scene, you see white guys walking down the street. They're not running. They're not hiding behind anything. Four black guys walking down the street and they're perfectly fine. And it's just like that. It was just inconsistent how they did that. Also, this boy got his hands in his pants for whatever reason. He got a dig in his drawers right now. Then walks up and touches a sign with the same hand. Touches a sign this way. And it's just like, bro, goodness. I guess he wanted to mark his territory, I guess. This scene here, they're getting ready to go into a vinyl record store. The sign on the door here, shoplifters will be killed. Is hilarious to me, because the guys that come in and help and aid in this shoplifting scene, most of them get killed. Like, this sign was foreshadowing the plot and I didn't even know it. So in this scene, they all walk in. They're gonna have O to come up to the counter and like play it smooth and try to flirt with the lady or whatever while they steal. Little did Omar Epps know, this is how the lady looks. That gold tooth is barely hanging on. Never would have made it without you. So this guy's over there and he's taking the vinyl records and stuffing them under a newspaper while Q talks and flirts with the lady at the front desk. And this face right here is so discreet. I mean, the outfit that you have on, that granny hat and that granny coat, like, doesn't make you look suspicious at all. He could have hid the records inside that big old coat. He hid it under the Belleville News Democrat. This scene, they show up to a bar. For whatever reason, they wanted to go in there and pick up some cigarettes. So they send in Q. Q goes in, hangs out for a little bit, you know, and it looks like there's all adults in here. These supposed to be kids in high school. Looks like it's all adults for the most part in here. When he sees a young lady sitting by the phone, he decides to walk up and just stare at her. I don't know if this was like his idea of flirting, but she wasn't feeling it. It looked like it's a payphone, so she didn't put a quarter or some kind of currency in there so that she can use it. She took one look at bro, hung the phone up, and she walked away. You know how pissed off somebody has to be to put 25 cents into a phone and then abandon the call? Look at his outfit. That's why she abandoned it. She was petrified. So then he walks over, see one of his friends just kind of hanging out at the bar. He chilling, cooling by the jukebox. He walks over to him like, yo, what's up, man? What's going on? He was like, oh, no, man, I'm chilling, man. Taking care of yourself? Yeah, I'm taking care of myself. Hey, pardon me while I rob the place right quick. pulls out a shotgun and robs the entire bar. Have everybody to strip. Then turns around and asks him, hey, you want a piece of the action? Nah, man, I'm cool. I don't need a piece of the action. Had everybody to strip that was in the bar. They head back over to Steele's house to kind of kick back and chill, eat some food, drunk a couple of beers. This boy is in the kitchen and this is what he's fixing. It looks like ham, eggs, and just lard. This looks so terrible. Then he drinking a 40 and then decides to pour some of the 40 in there. It's just like, bro, what type of trifling meal is this? What is the ketchup for? Where are your parents at, bro? Your parents need to come here and just see you cooking and then put you on punishment forever. So they all chill in the living room watching TV, and breaking news show up. This is probably maybe hours after they saw the dude robbing the place. Already, he's been killed by the police department. They just saw him, and was arguing with each other about going in and getting a piece of that. Nah, you didn't want a piece of that. You didn't want to be on this screen. I mean, that was so fast. Like, then he asked him, he was like, are you out on parole? You out on parole? Yeah, you know I'm out on parole. And this is what you do? A bar? You made everybody strip at the bar and then get caught. So in this scene, keep in mind, these boys are still in high school and they still didn't go to school today. This is all one day. This boy who's in high school knocking on this door. This man answers the door. He's this young lady's husband. This boy got on a dress shirt, a sweater vest, and a dress coat. Comes in. This is his wife. Pretty young lady, nice figure. That's his wife. He sits down, takes his jacket off, sticks his hand out to introduce himself. The husband just looking at him like, bro, who is you? So in this scene, the wife is in the room gathering a box of, I'm assuming is the husband's belongings. Comes out and waves this. It got a beach towel, a tennis racket, it looks like, a paddle, and a pair of white and red heart boxers. And she gives it to him like, I don't know if she kicking him out, if they're getting divorced, if they separating, but she kicks him out, hands him his box, she's kicking him out, and he's leaving, and Q and her make love afterwards. I'm like, he's in high school. This girl works at the hospital. She is a nurse at a hospital. Married to what looks like an accountant or something like that. Got a whole husband. This boy is in high school, so he's at the very least 17 years of age. How are y'all doing this? Then they laying in bed together. I'm like, what is this film doing, yo? What type of scene is this? Where are the morals at? So he leaves the house and go back home because, you know, I'm assuming that he may have a curfew, but golly, Raheem is there waiting on him, letting him know like, hey, we got a big job coming up. We got something that we developing. The boy Q tell him like, listen, I got a DJing segment that night. I got an audition that I'm trying to, you know, go out for. I might not be able to make that event. And he like, man, just you know, just keep us in mind. You know what I mean? You definitely want to be clear for this night. This is a big deal. This is big business we doing. Not knowing all along that the big business that they're trying to do is to rob a candy store, a convenience store. That's their big business. That's their big plan. So Q go into his house. He finna kind of start practicing DJing and start working on his skills. And on the wall here, on the mirror, there's a picture of the two young ladies that he's messing with. Because they look different. This boy is in high school, got these grown women that he messing with. And they done gave him pictures. How your mom ain't been in your room and saw this? And why are you so infatuated with the letter Q? And his mom peeking in at him while he doing his DJ session. But she don't see those two pictures of these grown women that she don't know on a mirror in his bedroom. And she just shake her head like, oh, that Q. So it's audition day. And Q is in the line. This is the line for the audition. And these are the people. This is the people that's in this line. And I'm going to assume that maybe as the day went on, that somebody gypped somebody. This dude in this green and yellow shirt, he was not there. He was not there at all. Where did he come? Where did he come from? He's just like, oh yeah, I'm here to audition too. Watch out. Also, the guy in the back with this gray and bluish sort of jacket on appears right behind that guy. This dude done gypped like 5-6 people. How? So Queen Latifah is the one who's over the auditions, and she comes out, and is that Flex Alexander from the 101 show? Huh? There's nothing wrong with this scene. I just thought it was pretty dope that they had Queen Latifah, the one who was over the auditions, and it was just a really nice touch having her in the film. Shout out Queen. So Q did pretty good on his auditions, and he goes outside and celebrates like this. And there's a guy over here at this bus station gate just looking like, what in the hell is going on? So Q meets up with the guys at the basketball court, and they're kind of giving him a rundown on what their plan is and an object that they end up getting to try to complete the plan. He lets them know about his, his DJ and how his DJ session, how it went pretty good, and he got invited to go to the competition. Of course, they express how they do not care. And then they show him the weapon that they're going to use to rob the candy store later on that same night. Now, they chose all 4 of these guys to rob this store with what looks like is the station wagon of handguns. Later on, Q was at the competition, and I'm looking at people's outfits, people's attire. What does she have on? This boy got on a hat that says rap. Like that's about as straight to the point as it gets. Rap. Let's just get right to it. Somebody in the crowd gotta have on a hat that says hip hop. Next. This girl got on a hat that says unique. All right. This boy got on a hat that says if. Is that the Punisher? Bro, let me find out that that's the Punisher in the crowd. This young lady got a cowboy hat. Got a cowboy hat on. What's happening? So this dude right here that has this rap hat on, is that an upside down cross on his scarf? Oh nah, son. What's going on? Yo attire. What's going on that scarf? This guy here at the bottom on the floor reaches and taps the DJ's foot. I don't know if that's to let him know like, hey, you only got this much time left. Is it a time reminder or what? But I thought that was weird. I was noticing like some more of this West Coast attire. This boy got a UNLV hat on. And then this guy with this fishbone. And what is this skull on his necklace? That looks creepy. Got a Pittsburgh hat over here for sure. This boy decked out in Los Angeles Laker gear. Then you got a dude right above him in some Sacramento Kings gear. And another UNLV hat. You got a guy up here, it looks like he got a Yankee hat on. All right, finally. But it's so much West Coast gear. So Q did really good at the competition. That's cool and all. But bro, her looked like somebody just glued it on right on top of his hair right before they said action. Everybody was super stoked about Q winning that particular round and advancing to the finals, except his friends. They just like, yeah, we don't care nothing about this competition and you advancing in your music career. We need to rob a candy store. And who auntie hat do Tupac have on? So I'm thinking they finna really be hitting like a nice store where they can get a great large sum of money with all this fuss that they're going over. But no, they hit this store. I think this store maybe has like 4 items inside of it. The most you're gonna get from this store at best is like 80 bucks. You're gonna split that 80 bucks between you guys. You're all getting 20 bucks. We going through all of this. The gun costs more than one person's share. Then they show up to the scene with black and pink lingerie to hide their face. This kind of confused me. If you pay attention right here, this is a woman right here walking across. She didn't see these 4 black men standing here with hoods on their heads and pink and black lingerie in their hand, watching this store. Cops roll by. They don't do anything but just duck down a little bit. Huh? So they head over to this store. This guy is closed, but he didn't lock the door. And that could have made all the difference. You're closed. You need to lock your door. He's eating cornbread or pound cake. Tupac walks in backwards. The guy's like, hey man, we're closed. Get out of here. But if you would have locked the door, none of this would have happened. Turns around, points the gun at him. Now they starting to rob the place. Raheem comes around to the register, opens it up. And from the way this looks like you're going to get no more than, I'm going to say 80 bucks. I'm sticking with the 80. And that's probably me really boosting it up. I'm assuming in his hand he has the 5s, you got 10s, and you got some 1s there. It looks like there may be a $2 bill under that 1. But yeah, this is probably $80. They get the money, they're all getting ready to leave, but Tupac, for some reason, no reason at all, the guy wasn't combative, none of that, shoots the guy. Shoots the guy, makes this loud noise with this revolver. The police rolled past, somehow didn't hear the gunshot, somehow didn't see these idiots right by the front door with pink and black lingerie on their face. And this is how they decided they want to hide. They finally get out of the store, they run away to get to a hideout, and they confront Tupac. They're like, dude, what are you doing? Why did you shoot him? Come to find out, this idiot was in the store looking at batteries and turned around and said Raheem's name in the middle of a robbery. So Tupac was afraid that he heard them say their names and that he would make out who they were and give them up later, so he shot him. Raheem was telling him, man, give me the gun, man. You're not in charge of the gun no more. This boy Tupac comes out with another gun. So he got 2 station wagons of handguns on him. Raheem rushes him like this, wrestles with him for a little bit. Tupac pushes him off of him, draws a little bit of distance. Kapow. In the same night, all within the same night, y'all didn't rob this candy store for $80 for y'all to get $20 a piece. And let's be honest, with Tupac in your group, he's probably gonna cut you down to 10. You try to get the gun from him, which was sensible. Like, listen, man, you tripping right now, just give me the gun. He shoots you and then takes the money from him. And it looks like it's less money than when they started with. That easily looks like $6 in his hand. And I'm just having a hard time trying to figure out, what is your end game? What is your plan? What were you trying to do? His whole focus was power and respect, but you're not getting any power. There's no respect. You didn't shot one of your own friends. He was the main one who was trying to get this thing together. He the one that came to Q and was like, hey, yo, Q, we got this big thing we working on, and this fool done shot him. So fast forward, we're at the funeral or we're at the repast for Raheem, and Steele is there, Q is there, as well as Bishop. Q is trying to be consoling to Raheem's sister. Bishop looks over there and like, what is he doing? And I guess he decides he want to get in on it, and he decides to be comforting and consoling as well. He's over here hugging this man's mom. Like, the amount of crazy that has to be going on in this particular film is nuts to me. You done shot this lady's son, but decide to have enough heart to come to the funeral in the recession. Why? You could have just not came. This little boy looks like the dude that's off of My Wife and Kids, Junior, and he got the same type of head, so I think that's him, but I'm not sure. Another West Coast attire. And is that the same unique hat from the party? She go to the same school? This was puzzling to me as well. I don't know how much money was in that register, but this boy Pac got all types of jewelry on. My thing is this, if he could have just sold some of that, you could have got you some money. You sold one of them rings and you could have had way more than $80. One thing I was noticing was this was pretty good, that they actually had a newspaper article that pertained to what actually happened in the film. You see some films where they'll be a little lazy with the newspaper article, and sometimes maybe the information will be mixed up or it won't make sense. But this one actually had a very detailed article about the crime. It didn't focus on all the letters, but the story that I could read, it actually pertained to the event that happened that night. It talked about there was an officer who was doing his rounds. Some told him to go back and to double check the store. He found the owner. They got an anonymous tip about the body found in the alley, which was Raheem. It was pretty interesting that they actually made that effort to put those details in that report. Also in 91, it looked like there was an incident where somebody actually tried to cut down like a historic tree that is in like North Carolina, I believe, or South Carolina. And it's called like the Angel Oak Tree. And they put that article in here as well. I don't remember seeing this building that's right here, but I thought it was pretty interesting that they included that. Once again, we're being harassed by the Radamez gang, and the hats. Look at how tall this boy hat is. I do so like green eggs and ham. Thank you, Sam I am. Cause it's Dr. Seuss. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. What type of jacket this boy got on? This scene, the way it started like, all right, and action. Like, it was just weird how he was walking just perfectly fine. Nothing was really happening. And then they just rushed him literally out of nowhere. So Pac and this guy, the leader of the Rodamez gang, were talking, and he pulls out a switchblade. And this is how this mug looked. He pulled out this long blade, swings it around. Pac actually just stares at it while he's getting it together, takes the knife and sticks it up his nose, like all up in his nose. And he's enjoying it. And then here come the cops out of nowhere, like drop out of the sky. Everybody gets up and run. So instead of Tupac running somewhere and getting out of Dodge, getting somewhere out of the cops' way, he chased the leader of the Rodamez gang, gets behind him, pulls out his gun, and there's like a red car right here on the street that can see you pulling your gun out, see you chasing this dude. Matter of fact, it's 2 cars, so there's a set of 2 witnesses. Walks up on this dude and shoots him broad daylight. But the part that got me was how the guy who's getting shot reacted. I mean, he was just surprised, like totally surprised. And they edit that gunshot spark right there, just real nice. No gunshot wound anywhere located. So I'm guessing that spark was just way too much for him to handle. And he just couldn't take it. And from here, like, he gives himself a hug for a great performance. So here, Q is walking up he's pulled up to this house to try to get himself a firearm. And I'm guessing it's like, you gotta make sure you know somebody in order to get in. So you gotta knock, and the guy has to approve you coming in. So he knocks on his door, guy opens it, they walk in, and the guy never turns back to lock the door or secure the door. It's just open. What was the point of knocking? What was the point of having him there in the first place? So Q goes over to the married lady's house. She cooks him a whole dinner. I mean, look like beef tips, sauteed broccoli, and steamed rice, and some sort of sparkling drink there. And he's just like, man, I want to eat. And I still don't get it. Like, this boy is in high school. The fact that you going this whole length for this 17-year-old, or at the best case scenario, an 18-year-old, but he's still in high school. And she's like, you're not eating your dinner? What? I mean, she got the whole candlelight and everything for this boy. And he just sitting there like, yeah, this is awkward. Then he tells her, I know who killed Raheem. And she's just like, you do? Why aren't you doing anything about it? I thought that was your friend. There's questions that need answers. Got this scene with Samuel L. Jackson trying to spit some game to this girl. And I promise you, her and her hair looks uninterested. So when Q finds out that Bishop actually shot Steele as well, he goes down to the scene to check it out. And while he's down there, a young lady is at the scene, and I'm guessing she recognizes his face for whatever reason. And so she taps a young lady and then points directly at him. And the other young lady looks directly at him as well. And then everybody else starts looking and pointing as well. And of course, the cops just put, I don't know, I can't even say 2 and 2. Then the cops instantly just catch on to exactly what's going on, and they chase him down the street. Quickly gets away, then he's walking down an alleyway. Now right here is a homeless guy that's sitting down and sleeping, I'm guessing. As soon as he gets close, he stands up randomly and like clears his throat. So of course he pulls his gun out on him, because he's trying to figure out, who the hell are you, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, don't shoot, don't shoot. Why did you randomly just stand up like this? Of course he was getting ready to shoot you. And he's sitting there looking like, all right, man, almost blew you away. Then the guy sits back down and goes back to sleep. Why did you stand up in the first place? What were you getting ready to do if you just gonna sit right back down? He quickly realizes, you know what? This tiny gun life, this ain't for me. Throws the gun away. And this is probably the most embarrassing part, I would think, in a situation. Not that you went and spent $25 on a gun that's ridiculously small. Not the fact that you had to throw it away and you just wasted $25 on this gun, but the fact that that's the splash that it made. Like, that gotta be a little humiliating. Like, you threw that gun away and then like, whoop, that's the splash it made. You know, and it just kind of solidifies how stupid you feel at that moment, because you could have saved that $25. And I think that's what he was feeling. He's just like, dang, what a waste. So they rush Steele to the hospital because he's still alive. And the lady who's the wife, like I said, worked at the hospital, was able to come up to him and, you know, ask him a couple of questions. And he looked up to her and said, Bishop did it. Bishop shot me. But they didn't use that. They didn't use that at all. They could have used that to where Bishop could have been still alive later on, and somebody could have finally caught him on what he was doing and brought him into justice and something like that. But no, they did nothing with that. Q went to go meet him somewhere so he can, I guess, talk and battle it out with him or whatever the case. And I'm honestly just tired of seeing Bishop with this revolver. Like, I'm tired of seeing him. When you watch this film, he point this same gun at everybody who starred in the film, it seems like. And I'm just over seeing you with this gun, pointing it at somebody. I'm tired. So he's giving this whole speech about, nah, man, it's about power. It's about respect. I'm gonna be respected. And then he was just like, you know what? You ready to die? And so Q was like, yeah. And this was the face that he made. You can't ask somebody, you ready to die? They say, yeah, I'm ready to die. Go ahead. And then you look like, oh, well, shoot, I didn't know you was gonna say that. Gave him a split second where he was able to kind of deflect the gun away, and they get into a scuffle. Now the gun is somewhere else on the ground, and now they gotta fight for it. You know, like every movie that was ever made, this happens. In this particular segment, Bishop showcased to us the most terrible shooting ability ever known to man. Like, they showcased the fact that he was in high school really well with the skill of shooting that he displayed. He gets the gun, Q runs away, and he fires one shot, misses, fires another shot, misses, fires a shot there, and he's right behind him, misses, fires another shot, right behind him, misses. Runs, he's right behind him. He done fired probably like 4 or 5 shots now. Still doesn't take the clean shot, fires another shot, misses, gets here on these steps. Q is running up steps, going straight line, and he shoots again, finally hits him in the shoulder. He decides to go into this building, and I guess he figured it'd be a good idea to kind of blend in with the crowd or go hide somewhere. So he gets into an elevator that's extremely crowded and figured, you know, I got away from him. Lo and behold, Bishop shows up. And this is the way he looked. Like, he looks so pissed. I think it's the fact that he just looked tired and frustrated from chasing you all over town. Wasted all his ammunition. He looked so pissed. And so Q was just like, what, you gonna shoot me on the elevator? And of course, yes, he is. Pulls his gun out. He pulled a gun out. Q, this is the face that Q makes in the background. This is the face that bro in the front make. But that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other people who clean did not react even after he shot the gun. No one's reacted. Everybody was just like, oh man, you know, it's chill. It's just another day in New York. So he chases him. This fight scene leads all the way to the rooftop. And I guarantee you, I kid you not, it took Omar Epps about 2 or 3 minutes to finally get up the ladder. I mean, it took him so long to get up this. When you watch this film, watch how long it takes him to get up this ladder. It is going to anger you the same way it angered me. So he goes to look for Bishop, see where he at. The final battle on the rooftop. Bishop hops out like this with a perfectly cut 2x4. Swings it like a mad idiot. This boy looked like a mad mouse swinging this 2x4. And it just, whatever he's doing, it looked like he missed, and it looked like if he hit, it wouldn't have hurt it. Terrible at shooting, terrible at swinging a 2x4. Q completely ducked it. Now they got a wrestling battle, and Bishop falls off balance after getting hit by Q and hanging off the side of the roof. Q hurried up and come over to grab him and save him so he wouldn't fall down. He's begging Q to pull him up. Don't let me go, man. Pull me up. After you done shot everybody, and then you finally get to him and shot at him 6 times, missed all 6, and now you want him to save your life. Of course, he's losing grip. And the part that gets me is, in the film, when he lets him go, you will hear him scream, "Ah!" But this was how his face looked when he screamed. This is when he let him go, "Ah!" And that was his face. And I'm looking like, he looks mighty relaxed to be falling off the side of a building into complete and utter darkness and uncertainty. That's how his face looked. So Q, after his friend falls to his death, you know, he's sad. He, you know, realizing that he lost all his friends, or almost all his friends. He still got Steel. And turns around, and everybody who was in that elevator or in that building is on the rooftop, just standing there, and somebody's already mourning. Somebody's already in sadness. Like, oh no, is that Bruno Mars? Is that Angela Bassett? He walks up to the crowd, and that lady right there was the exact same lady that pointed him out downstairs. She was the same lady that pointed him out to the cops. I kid you not. Look, that's the same lady, bro. You're not telling me anything different. That's literally the same lady, bro. Took her jacket off to come upstairs so she can see him again in action. Then some dude in the crowd points him out and tells him, "Now you got the juice," whatever the hell that means. And at this moment, that's when Q realized, you know what, this movie is terrible. Like the beginning, the middle, the plot, the structure, this is horrible. But you know what? We're gonna put it out anyway. Listen, that is it for this video. I really enjoyed watching this movie, but I think I enjoyed it for all the wrong reasons. This movie was stupid. So let's go ahead and get that clear. This movie was stupid. I think it's good to watch, to be able to look at all the scenes and be like, what the hell was that? Why did they do that? It was good in that regard. It was good to see the nostalgia of the clothes, and you know, that old hip hop, and the DJs and everything, and the music, the vibe from all of that. Getting the nostalgia from seeing the record store and things like that, and just these 4 guys hanging out together for the short period of time that they were. Seeing these actors and seeing Pac, you know, acting. Pac is an incredible actor, and he really embodied that role. I just feel like they could have did way more with that. I feel like they made his character just really 2-dimensional when you could have really got something great out of that. It's a golden movie because of the time frame that it came out in. Just seeing these actors in their younger years is gonna always have that sort of nostalgia and that feel to it. Seeing these guys put in their work and do what they did, it was pretty good. But the movie itself, the plot, just everything was just so fragmented. It was just impossible to enjoy as a good movie, but more so to enjoy as a movie that you can talk trash about. That is it for this video, you guys. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will catch you guys soon. Peace.